Paintsville Utilities for Monday, February 1st, 2016. Roll call. L.B. Masters.
Present.
Walter Preston.
Here.
Mitch Kenner.
Here.
And Mike
Here.
Schmidt.
Forgot who I was in Benson.
What you might have been doing corn in, right?
You been sworn in?
First one I have.
First item on the agenda for now is the review and approval of the minutes. First review and approval is the regular meeting for January 4th, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Now vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I think those are the only two that were actually there other than you.
Yeah. And for the January 18th special call meeting,
Motion to approve.
second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up on the agenda is the review and approval of the operating report.
Motion to approve the operating report.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next on the agenda is the presentation and approval of the construction pay request.
What's that? Never mind.
Before we start talking about that, let me talk about our operating report for just 1 second. In looking at it, I guess everybody realizes that with our gas sales that they're going to be much different than what we actually budgeted for the year. I suspect we're probably going to come in several $100,000 under budget in terms of revenue from gas sales. So we probably need to kind of tighten our budget between now and June as best we can to make sure that we kind of make up for that shortfall.
Where is 4?
Pardon?
I've got yours, but where is 4?
Not in here.
Portion has been misplaced, so obviously if we table that, and we'll come back to the very end.
Okay.
So we're going to table item 4.
Do you have any particular items that we can save on that you want to mention?
Well, I mean, that may be worth taking a look at in terms of actually doing an adjustment to our budget maybe next year to kind of, or next month, just to kind of remind us that for the next 4 months because as you can see, our revenue is only 23% of projection.
We're getting into the heavier gas billing months right now too, so that'll come on back up 10%.
But it's not
But
gonna get,
they are lower rates.
No, you're not going to make it up.
and we're not going to be able to make up December because December is one of the warmest months we've had. January wasn't extremely cold, and now we're starting off February with fairly warm weather, so we're going to have 2 months of
Yeah.
very stagnant gas sales. Well, if you can see, we lost $120,000 that we typically would have gotten in the last gas sales in comparison to last year.
Let's put it on there too, that some of the expenses, the gas purchases at 15% budget.
Yeah, but you're still on the revenue side. You know, in 2014 we took in 265,000, and this year we took in 143,000. So we're 120,000 bucks short just in that one month. So if we have a couple of those, we're looking at a $250,000 shortfall fairly quickly.
Very.
Hopefully we'll get some cold weather to make it up, but
you're talking about possibly taking money out of our reserves to add to the budget.
we'll need to not necessarily add to it, but just kind of tighten our budget and some of our expenses on the capital end. I don't know, I haven't really looked at that closely, but it just kinda concerns me, and I'd mentioned it today, but actually last month, cause we had such a warm December, I knew that we were gonna come up with a shortfall. I mean, we budgeted, what do we think is revenue, 2.1 million for gas? We're not gonna get close to that.
And I noticed in the packet, he's making some recommendations there to go to the city about, you know, the cost of the CPI and all that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I don't know how that'll go over.
It's not on gas.
He's got the little
But it's
.7,
rev-
I think.
but it's
about the
revenue.
gas, 5 cents or something
Yeah,
on that CPI.
yes.
Yeah,
But not the higher rates is what he's asking about water.
and gas, you know, it's pretty cheap right now, but still, if you don't sell it, you can't make up the difference.
But anyhow, again, that's gonna be something we need to wanna take a look at next month. Do we not have number 4?
Well, he said,
We can, we have the actual copies of the invoices, we can just go through them that way. We print out of it should have been in your packet, it's got misplaced somewhere. We have, invoice from Bo Cook on the, Kentucky 321 relocation project, $2,403. That's funded by the Transportation Cabinet, we actually already have that money in hand.
right here in the,
Make a motion to pay Boca the 2,400.
we have a second.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Multiple invoices from Bell Engineering, and if I get tangled up trying to do it this way, Kelly, correct me.
We're not buying Bell sweaters, are we?
Not directly.
Not directly.
First one is invoice number 160011 on the hydraulic model or hydraulic evaluation of our water system. It's 50% of the contract. The amount is $7,250 of this invoice.
You wanna do all bells at one time, or would you wanna separately? How many of them are there?
Let's do that one on its own.
I hear a motion to accept the first one.
How much do you like on completing it?
We're about 60% complete, and I'm gonna get up here either later this week or next week, depending on Bob and Rick's schedule, and sit down and review with them.
So moved for that one.
And you said that was for how much, Bob?
$7,250.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What's your next one there?
Fellas, we have 3 or 4 invoices on AML.
Well, it should be just one invoice. The ones that were sent up last month, were sent in for reimbursement. So that one you have in your hand, you're looking at a statement, correct?
I have the statement.
Don't look at the statement, look at just the one invoice.
The statement's all I've got here.
What I just gave you,
I took in there.
yeah.
Is that what you sent us earlier?
Was it in the packet that you got earlier?
Yeah, there's something in there.
I know we had them.
It was in the packet with the recommendation that Bell understood that we approve it with knowing that we pay you when we get paid by the state.
Yeah, that AML will reimburse us all.
There was no total.
You had the new invoice for Kelly, and then there were 2 previous invoices.
Correct.
We need to approve all.
Were the 2 previous not approved?
Not yet.
Okay. Then what you can do is look at the total dues on the statement, less, $7,250, because the statement are all invoices. So if you look at the total less $72.50 will be the total due to date on AML.
Is this gonna be reimbursed immediately, or do we have to wait months?
It should be fairly quick, shouldn't it?
Yeah, just as soon as you sign them, send them in. So last month I had sent in 3 previous statements, and then some of them you've already paid, some of them you haven't. And then this one is for the month of January.
Are they downstairs?
Yeah.
Let's
Come back to it.
come back to that later.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, then there another one besides the bill?
Had one from All Pumps. I got mixed up in the papers here. It is the repairs to the Depot Road pump station, which was approved several months ago. They had to wait on parts before they could do that project. It's $11,870. It's invoice number 22437.
I have a motion for the all pump invoice.
So moved.
Second?
We're just ratifying that, aren't we, right now?
No, that's a different one.
Huh?
That's a different one.
We haven't done that one yet.
That's the Red Bush. That's on the agenda.
So I hear a second.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up is the departmental reports.
How about paying the bills?
Number 5.
Well, that was review and approval of monthly invoices. That's all we were doing, wasn't it?
No, we're doing pay request.
I thought we jumped down to review and approval of monthly invoices.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
All
Second.
right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You know what we got, since we keep those newspapers going.
Now we're to the departmental reports on.
Okay.
We're a little shy on department heads tonight between illness and things going out in the field. They're not, most of them are here.
They sent their chief spokesman, Rick Neese.
Rick can answer any questions you have.
And we've got pretty good written documentation of everything that's going on, I think.
Yeah, it makes it pretty easy to understand what's happening. Except that Mrs. Williams, does she realize there's only 2 people up there? Did you tell me that the last meeting?
There's only 2 visible houses. There might be a third one at the end.
Okay. Lots of luck.
She told me that she's working through Al Rogers' office to get it in.
Yeah,
I think she can get it done.
when she left here, we told her that if you get the money, call Uncle Hal.
Now, this would be something, if she somehow got funding for it, then we would have someone draw up the plans for it, get approval. It's still a long process, though.
It is a long process.
It's not just a do it tomorrow.
All based on approval of this group.
Okay, I guess with the old business.
Okay.
One thing that would fall under old business is we have a report in the packet there from Bill.
Did it make this, or is it get lost?
It's in there.
This one?
That's it. It's kind of an update on projects we've been working with Bill. Kelly, you have any comments you'd like to make on any of these?
Item 1 was the hydraulic model and analysis of the water distribution system. That's the one you just approved the invoice on. And as I mentioned, we're about 60% complete on that. So that's just, we're to the point of doing a review with staff at this point. 2 and 3 are closed out, those projects are complete. Item 4, which was the phase 1, the water line extensions out in the county. That one is in limbo, I guess, if you will. And there was just a recommendation, and Bob and I had discussed this last week. And I guess it was unclear from the board on which direction you wanted to head with that project at this point. So at the bottom of page 1 of 2 was just a recommendation based on Bob and I having some conversation last week.
Have we got the pressure readings yet? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yes.
So what's your prognosis?
Well, I don't really until there's pressure readings taken. I don't really have one. If pressure readings are taken and if you're in compliance with Penn State standards, which is what Division of Water follows, and that is supplying a 30 psi at each meter, then our recommendation would be to take that matter to Division of Water and advise them that you're in compliance and ask that the system remain as is.
Kelly, any idea if you've come across something like this before, as what kind of penalties that they could address those?
Tim, that's a really hard question. Their staff changes every few months over there. To some degree, it depends on who you're dealing with. Just speculation. I would be surprised if there was any financial penalties at all. I think it would be a slap on the wrist and provide record drawings. They might ask us to come back with new design calculations or something like that, but the record drawings have been complete for several months now.
What would have kept us from doing that to start with?
I think the board addressed that, and that's probably been close to a year ago now.
Refresh me on that then.
I think it's the board's decision to,
This board?
yes,
Okay.
to replace the lines at that particular time.
I'm aware of that, but I'm talking about the initial planning of the sizes and the linear feet and
Sure.
why wouldn't this work? What we're trying to do going back now, is there any leeway when you're making a plan like that to plus or minus percentages, or I don't know how you do that, but
So there's
if it would work now, why wouldn't it work then?
there's standards that we have to follow.
Yeah.
And a line size of 3-inch minimum is what we have to design on. They used to many years ago would allow 2. They don't any longer, but under special circumstances, they will look at it and consider it. So that would be our hope, that they would see this as a special circumstance and approve what's in place.
In terms of the pressure data, you think that would be better from us do that in-house or get that from a third party just to confirm what the numbers are, given the history of this project?
That's a good point. I think maybe the best thing to do is install a pressure recorder rather than just taking a static pressure. And that way you have a printed documentation that can be downloaded and printed out. Rick, you all have equipment to do that?
We've got a chart recorder, but not
Okay.
a data one.
I have a recorder I can loan you to install. Your all staff, if you choose to do that, your all staff can install it. I'd recommend leaving it on each location for a couple of days and then move it, and then we can download the data for you.
Now, would this be located like at the head of each one of these lines that were laid, or is so many of the meter bases that have to be
It's
checked?
at the meter, so you should be able to go into the meter and install it. Or you can go to a hose bib on a home, either
I mean, so this would be at every person that's on that
You
line.
would go to the high point, the ending line at the highest point. And that's gonna tell us what we need to know. So that's the worst case scenario, Tim.
And Rick, you could figure out what our worst case place would be to set it up like that.
We don't have to do it for every
That's
water
why I
line
was
extension.
finding out.
Yeah.
He's just saying
We've
pick
only
your
got,
worst
what, 4 or
case.
5 that were out of compliance.
Correct. Yeah, you would just go to
Just
each
go
of
to the
those
highest
holes.
one on each one,
Yeah.
not all the holes that they want.
So that's something we could do in the next 30 days. Then.
I think so, yeah. I just need to get the pressure recorder up here to you guys.
Let's do that. Let's go ahead and try that and see how it works. And particularly given our situation with the gas sales.
Okay.
On this Moccasin branch line, is there any customer that's being served by this water line that was put in? Do we know that? Yeah, we know.
One, maybe two at the most, and they're at the very,
Very
End of
end,
the
aren't
pile.
they're at the very beginning.
The lower
they?
end.
Very beginning. Really?
I know some of the people have got their own lines out near Kentucky 580 already when their meter sits there.
They're on the other side of the road. So there's a lot, the people put their own lines in on one side of the road, and we put a line in for 1 or 2 people on the other side, right?
Oh, they're not up the same
There,
roadway?
it's the same road, but I think what it was, the two beginning, before there was a line up through there, we set meters on 580 and they ran their line to their meter, and then I guess,
But they're not gonna be hooked onto our line that was ran all the way up through there. They're actually the other side
Eventually
of the
something
road.
will happen, they will.
yeah, they probably
But
will
the-
eventually, but right now they're still on 580, I'm thinking.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to understand for sure is that they're not up their own Lincoln of Moxon's one way. There's just one road Moxon goes up the hill. And they are up in there somewhere, but they ran lines from their home
And they're
out.
just right at what you call the mouth of Moccasin Branch.
Yeah.
They actually face 580,
But then,
and then there's a house right behind it.
then basically, we probably need to move theirs and put them on that line in particular, so that we get more
I'd
usage on
say
that
it's
line for
probably
better.
not 200 feet, maybe, to the homes from 580, 300. I mean, it's not very far. So
I mean, that's something to look into. If we put more meters on that line, it'll help it run better and not have less stagnant. And
Well,
I don't think it would help you from being on the lower end of it. So you're still not gonna turn the water over up beyond that without blowing it off.
okay.
Well, let me ask you, since we don't have any other customers beyond those 2 homes, would we not be better off maybe just to go ahead and end it right there at this juncture, since we don't have anybody else?
Valve it off for now.
Because as I remember, when that line was run up through there, beyond the mouth of it, once you got up there was only one customer, and I think he ended up,
It was dead or
he
something.
died shortly after the line was put in, and I don't think anybody else picked it up.
We'll get with Delmas to see what the feasibility is for that.
Because it's over 1,000 feet on up through there.
easily.
So if that would save us that issue, that would resolve that issue.
Yes, very well, and quick.
You probably need to send somebody out to verify that those people do well.
Yeah, but we'll have to do that.
According
That's
to
right.
911 addresses, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I know when we went out and checked the size of the line, there was just the one house or the one person
On it, but
that's pretty much at the very end.
He was a popular guy before he passed away.
Yeah, had some clout.
Obviously, he was a political powerhouse somewhere.
Okay, is that all the old business? I'm sorry, we cut?
You done, Kelly?
Yeah, unless somebody's got questions on, phase 2 is, still hanging out there. That was a county funded project, to be constructed when we designed it as phase 1. So, that's sitting on the shelf at this point. We stopped work on that, so.
Cause didn't we one time talk about maybe not doing all those lines on that phase two, picking out a few of them, and at least try to do something for the community, even though, you know, we're still unsure on the funding, if there was still anything through the county's means, and we may still need to go ahead and do part of that project at
Right.
least.
I'll have to get back with the county again. I've not gotten the information I was looking for yet.
Okay.
There been any change or anything on the sewer line from in Van Leer?
No, not yet.
Not Powell addition.
No, we have not heard anything from rural development. We're waiting on, to hear about funds from rural development. Also, the area development district was to submit a, ARC application for funding, and, Bob, are you aware of what happened with that?
Haven't heard anything back on it.
And obviously, that didn't get funded, at the end of the year, so, but that doesn't prevent you from submitting an application again this year. But that's something the area development district would need to do. And Bob, back to the invoices, I figured out the numbers here, if you wanna review that.
I'll go for it now.
Why not?
Okay.
So, what you had on AML, was approval of pay request number 3, which is submitted back at the beginning of January. And that was in the amount of $8,249. And this is on the Lowe's Castle, Stable Branch property, by the way. And then pay request number 4, which we just submitted at the end of January. And these were construction cost numbers, but that was $6,675. So it was 2 separate pay requests. I think really all you need to do is authorize Bob to sign off on that and submit the pay request to AML for payment from AML.
Oh, so both of these are AML?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we pay AML's pay request, one of $8,290, and a second one for $6,675.
I have a second.
I had 8249. Did I?
Correct.
8249.
Correct.
I stand corrected.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that takes care of our invoices. Alright, no more old business, we go into new business. First thing on the agenda was for the generator grant application.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to apply for a grant for generator for this building, keep us up and going during emergencies. It is a FEMA grant. Our match on it will be 13%. We're looking probably right around $50,000 for the total project.
Did I read it right that your match would be like in kind for?
We can do in kind.
for
It wouldn't all be, but some of it could be. Depends on how things get worked out with the footprint downstairs.
Do you know how much higher above the existing parking lot that would have to say?
It has to be 6 foot above the sidewalk, basically, out there.
So that's the 619. Well, we have to figure out the best place to place it for
Yeah,
ease of access.
we've got to
and
work on
maintenance.
how to place the generator, which would be dual fuel propane, primary natural gas, secondary propane. Just figure out where to place your propane tank, appropriate distance from the building, and from the AC units, and then how we might need to realign our AC units.
How about this tree back here?
Well, going back to this
That would be a
propane.
good spot for it.
That may end up be where the air conditioning units have to go. You can't get the distance for anything else over there, but you could the air conditioning units. You have to run longer line sets, but that is doable. We've had that conversation. That tree would have to go. I think it needs to go anyway.
Now, will these be like, they'll kick on like maybe once a month just
Yeah,
to keep
once
the
every 30
parts-
days, yes.
30 days.
You you gotta exercise.
Right. And there'll be like a cutoff inside the building for the electricity where it'll shut it off to use it.
Automatic.
Automatic.
Yeah.
But you don't know how much it's going to cost us yet.
It's good. It's going to be in that 50,000 range total. And our share is 13%. There's still some numbers we're waiting to come back.
That's just for the generator and putting it in and hooking it up.
But that would include the fence,
Concrete,
the propane, the
gas.
pad or however we
But
elevate it.
you also just mentioned moving the air conditioning units.
That we have some quotes on that as well. That all has to be submitted up front.
Is that part of this 50,000?
Yes.
You think? So that's not a separate.
No.
So how much emergency activity do you propose out of this building?
Yeah, hopefully not. But you know, if you have a tornado come through or a flood and power's out, we need to be able to run our system.
Is it more important here or to shop? Or both?
Here, it would be more important here than the shop. The other location, I'd like to get one, but it's outside of the scope of what's available right now is the old sewer plant.
How much of one for the sewer plant would it cost?
Oh, we don't run those numbers, but you're talking a whole lot more. I'd say talking 250 real quick.
Cause the power need.
Yeah, be a big generator.
That goes back, we have generators out there at the shop, and I'm fuzzy on this, we've talked about this before, but do either one, or the one that really works and the other one that doesn't work, will power the wastewater over here?
No, it would not power the plant. It will power your pump stations individually, but it would not power the plant.
Okay.
So we're looking about $6,500 at the moment.
It'd be in that range.
So what do you need from us? Just
Authorization to
is-
apply.
Okay, I make a motion, we grant your authorization to apply for the grant for the generator and all the accessories.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Why they didn't put that in when they built this building?
Maybe they build it somewhere else.
I've preached on generators for years.
I'm just,
Yeah, and that's one thing, just one of many.
Okay.
Next line is the equipment trailer.
Yeah, there should be a proposal in your packet.
I saw that one.
It's actually the one at the top of the page is what we're proposing. It's that tilt trailer. More appropriately sized for the new dump truck and the equipment we're actually hauling and some of our roads. Cost is $5,200.
How about next budget?
We really don't have a appropriately sized trailer for that new truck, and we'd be waiting several months for the next budget.
Yeah.
And as you know, the one old dump truck is done.
Obviously.
I'll be honest, I would, even though I hate to do it, I'd prefer to wait till the next budget, given what I project's gonna happen to us on this shortfall. You know, we're just talking 4 more months to wait.
Yeah.
You know, it's $5,200.
There we go. But that would not preclude from them ordering it and have it ready here in Paintsville on July 1st.
I assume that's something they pretty much keep in stock out there, don't
No, it's got about a 6-week lead time on
they?
it.
6 weeks.
It's a little different than what we thought at first.
I'll tell you what, let's just do it this way. Let's wait to see see if we rebound from our gas dilemma on this next 30 days and see how we do. And if we're back to where we're close, maybe we can go ahead and jump on it. Let's just put this one back on for next month.
Table it.
Yeah.
That works.
So I'm just extremely nervous about our gas sales.
Next item on the agenda is the surplus dump truck, DT1.
Yeah, it's the old 91 model that's sitting over in the parking lot right now. engine, transmission, I believe rear end, brakes. A lot of rust.
You want authority to declare it as
A lot of
surplus?
surplus.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Just make sure you call the mayor.
Initially on those surplus trucks, I thought the city just wanted one, and you mentioned now they've actually taken
They've
two
taken
or three
taken
of them.
two, and we'll take a third. They came back and revisited and felt like they could use them at least for a little while. The third one we're still using, but we may get that done this week.
So we may just have this large dump truck and one pickup that's going to surplus to get us any money back.
There are actually three. There's two pickups, and the old, what we call boom truck had the utility bed on it. It used to have the crane on it. There's three plus none of them are
Right.
running.
Are those bill of sales for those, are they in utilities name or city's name?
They're in utilities now.
Okay. So once we give them to the city, we're going ahead and just give them, we transfer and title to them?
We transfer title.
Okay, and switch our insurance?
Yeah.
Good,
And once they've got it off our insurance,
okay.
and in their name. Of course, we take the signage off of them before they go.
Okay. All right, so where are we, Red Bush Pump Station?
Pump Station.
And that is ratification of the emergency repair we had to make to make sure we kept water to that part of the county.
Make a motion that we ratify the earlier action that we took in reference to the Red Bush Pump Station.
Second.
Have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next on the agenda is the CPI adjustment for rates. I was looking at this a little bit, Bob, and I know you said somewhere in your little note to bring it up to par, and you said it was
4.78.
4.78%. Now, how did you come about that?
I don't have my notes in front of me, but it was 1.5% for 1 year, 1.7 for the next. And these are the years that it wasn't done like it should have been. The next year was 0.5, and then for 2015 was 0.7. Of course, in that compounds.
Can you retroactive go back like that, or do you just do it for that year?
Well, what we can do, I think, is do the 0.7 on our own without taking it to city council. 'Cause that's for 2015. This is the time frame we're supposed to do that adjustment.
I thought it was in the ordinance that this was an automatic adjustment, annual adjustment.
It is.
I mean, the fact that we neglected to include it in previous years, why did we do that? Why was it not included?
It was misunderstanding from prior management.
That we wouldn't take the automatic increase.
Did not think that provision was in there for gas or for water and sewer. Thought it was gas only.
But it is in there, right?
It is in there.
Prior management didn't read it, is that the?
Most likely.
Well, I mean, here's the deal. If it's in there, I mean, if it's in there, it's in there, and it needs to be done, regardless of whether it be for this year or last year or whatever. If it was an oversight and it wasn't done, then we need to go ahead and correct it now to where it's where it's supposed to be.
How many years can you go back?
Well, I guess we could go back. Bob's determined that we haven't done it, what, 3 years?
We'd missed 3 years.
So,
And it was done every year prior to that.
It had been done prior to that.
like I say, it's in the ordinance. I know that there's an automatic escalator clause in the
So-
ordinance, so we don't have to, we don't have to address it, and city council doesn't have to address it every year. Just like on the pay raises, you know, that's in there, automatic for every year.
But don't use the entire pool.
Yeah, so I mean, the fact that it didn't get passed along is, by previous management, is,
I think you have a hard time with them agreeing to a 4.78%, because that is a good chunk on some of those figures you gave us, if I did my calculations right, that's a lot of money. Now, if we can do the 0.7 with nobody, you know, doing it, and it seems like we're supposed to do this anyway, you know, we definitely need to do that, but we can always ask them to say, well, would you all agree to a larger increase? And see what kind of word or how we get that out of it. We can ask for the whole boat, but I think they'll turn it down, and we'll be back here going ahead and trying to take the 0.7% anyway.
I don't think it's discretionary. I think it's already in the ordinance.
Well, I don't know if that to be researched to see if you can do that or not.
I can take a look at it. So.
Because just because you're supposed to have done something back then, you didn't do it. I don't know if you can automatically say, yeah, you can do it now.
Well,
I
don't think it's a question of that. I think it's a question of if it's automatic and it wasn't done, it's not a question of now going back and trying to do it. It was done to start with. We just didn't collect it.
Right.
The increase was automatically in effect, but for whatever reason, we just didn't collect it. I mean, in that legally would be.
That's the way I see it. It's something that, but for what we did, they would have paid it anyhow. It's not like that. It's not like it's an increase, to the extent that they're burdened with it now that they wouldn't have been burdened with it before.
Well, but back then it would have been, okay, here's a 1.5% increase we're going to do, or maybe the board would have said, no, let's maybe do half that.
We can't. That's just it.
You have to take that percent each time.
Yeah, it's whatever the CPI is. I think it's factored into that is to be done every year. And again, I think that's in the ordinance, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's the reason it was set up that way, because we got such a stake in 2004 and 2003.
And the ordinance says shall.
So it's like I say, it's really not. It's actually a directive to us to do it. We just, for whatever reason, if management didn't do it, they just chose not to. But I don't think we have any leeway in it.
Just let David research to make sure, because if that's the case, then you wouldn't even go to city council and say, here it is.
Yeah, because they've already addressed it as well.
But it would be nice to explain to them what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe we could explain it in a written report or something.
That's one of those things you don't write a report. You hear in live.
We can do both.
Yeah.
I mean, normally we never even see the increase because it's always done through the accountants, and they simply come up with what it is annually, and that's the end of it. And it is what it is.
Looks like our audit would have showed it.
Well, I mean, there's no way to show. I don't know how they would have. Well, they should have. Somebody should have caught it at that end.
That's what I'm saying. That if they're auditing the whole business, they should have looked at saw that.
They do the calculation for the increase anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They tell us what the CPI is. Which you can go look it up yourself. I did as well, but I verified it with them.
Is that something that comes across like every January or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every January.
Right around the 15th to 20th.
So what you have as current in terms of the printout is what it would be.
That's what it is
now. And the proposed is what it is if we would have enacted the increases as per the ordinance. Right. Okay.
Then you have that sheet with some examples in there.
But if David concludes that all of this is automatic to start with, there isn't a question of proposed, it's just a question of what it becomes. Is that right?
Yeah.
And just a good explanation to everybody else as to why this has happened. Yeah. We're not just arbitrarily saying, here it is.
No.
Here's what's been done at this time, here's what it is now. Just to basically explain ourselves.
We could just explain we didn't get the explanation either. we just pass it along, you know.
But I just didn't know if that was something that wasn't automatic, or you all voted on maybe a partial of it, not all of it, or.
We've never even had to
You were
vote on
here,
it.
so
No,
we missed
just
it.
been informed in January.
It wasn't on any time I was
First
here either.
meeting.
I don't know.
Obviously, he's not been informed.
and of the gas we done every year.
Yeah. Again, because it doesn't require any action on our part other than implementation. Okay, so we know what's going on that, Bob. Once you hear from David.
Go ahead and do it, and
Let us know.
inform everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead, and if that's the case, you ought to just go ahead and implement it. We don't need to take any action if it's automatic.
Next line is the wastewater treatment plant mowing contract.
Water treatment.
2 W's make away.
Yeah. About half here. So you don't have anything in here on the quote. Remember you said it was like a 0.7% higher than the original contract of 17.5, which
Yep.
made it 17.6 something.
17,622.50.
Were you all pretty happy with the contract and the way it was done last
Yeah.
year and no problems?
You had a couple of issues along, like phone calls taken care of.
Now, that contract, it included the old water treatment plant, which we've now closed
It's
down.
the old plant, and there's one parcel we have there in Cross Creek. They all included.
So those are still gonna be included
Yeah.
in this.
It's be same contract, just renewal.
When do we get to get to the position where we don't have to be worried about the old plant?
When you
That's a
sell
good
them, I
question.
guess.
Well, I don't think we actually own it, do we?
I don't think so.
Is
Last
that,
I heard, it was the city of Paintsville.
I mean, does that go back to the city to where we don't have to worry about it?
But there's still some questions about our system that haven't been answered yet, which we're working on with Bill. We may end up needing to use that facility,
We may
but
have
not for a
to-
water plant.
Oh,
For
okay.
what?
It's trashed
For
anyway.
what?
Is a pump station.
Oh, okay.
I make a motion that we approve the mowing contract with the cost of living increase as proposed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those opposed? All those in favor?
Aye.
Switch you.
Second seat.
Yeah, so he's asleep,
Keep it
didn't he? We need executive session
Yes,
for war.
personnel.
Make a motion that we go into executive session for purpose of personnel.
All those,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd like to move that the board grant a request by an employee for family medical leave and waive any other time requirement that otherwise might exist because of the urgent nature of the medical procedure.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Just show my abstention, please. Show me abstain.
With no other business in hand, and motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjourning.
Second.
Who made the motion?
I said, can I have a
Oh,
motion?
yeah.
I
You made the
did.
motion. I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Who did Brian?
I like the way you got minutes. That's kind of the way I
Mount
was
Everest
doing it.
right now.
They told him.